Hey everybody, Dustin Schmidt back here again. And today I want to talk about the new Alexa 35 Extreme camera that just came out. There's a lot to unpack there. We'll talk a little bit about some of the features and specs and things of it, and just kind of in general what this means for maybe Arri users moving forward, Alexa 35 owners, camera companies in general. I've got some thoughts on the whole thing, so let's get into some of that. So I think the biggest thing to unpack is really that Ari's releasing a new Alexa 35 camera. Some would say this soon into having just released what feels like the Alexa 35 just a few short years ago. So this new camera has a big list of specs of new stuff that it's offering. Probably the biggest one is like the high frame rates. That's kind of what they were talking about as the big extreme component to it is that now you can just shoot a lot more frame rates. Our cameras haven't always been known for being high frame rate cameras. I think that that definitely was in the realm of some of the specialty cameras like Phantom, newly like the Ember, things like that, and certainly like Red cameras that have always had better frame rates. Arri was never really known for that. They were kind of more known for dynamic range and the cinematic look and things like that. But if you wanted to shoot high frame rates, you had to go somewhere else. And I think Arri probably kind of realized, we don't want that market going somewhere else. Let's see what we can do to bring that into some of our camera offerings. And so they've offered that now with the Extreme. So the big elephant in the room, I think, first off, is this is a brand new camera. It is an upgraded Alexa 35 body in that it's the same body style. You can use all the same rigging components and all that stuff, cages, all those things. They still fit on the camera. The body style is exactly the same. The internals have been upgraded on this new camera. Faster kind of everything, better cooling, faster motherboards, extra motherboards, better processing, all that stuff that you need to run some of the higher frame rates and the new antenna for Wi-Fi and just a whole bunch of stuff. If you're an existing Alexa 35 owner, then you can send your camera in and you can get it upgraded for somewhere around 18K, I think, US dollars. So they have provided an upgrade path. The camera comes back, has all the new stuff, works just like the new Alexa 35 Extreme. So there's some stuff going on there. I think that if you're an existing Alexa 35 owner, one, it's good that you can upgrade it. They give you the option. They haven't really done that in the past. Arri hasn't been a camera company that's like send in your camera and we'll upgrade the internals, right? Red is a company that traditionally had done that for a long time. The obsolescence obsolete, which people make fun of. But for a while, it was you paid, several, anywhere from 10 to 15 grand extra, send in your old camera, they upgrade the internals, sometimes upgrade some other stuff, send it back, you've got a newer, faster camera. Red took a lot of flack for that, did it for a while, stopped doing it, started to do it again. But at least it kind of was an area where you could get upgraded camera specs. Arri was like, buy a new camera or don't, we don't care. But they also didn't release new cameras very often. They would release cameras that would be around for years and years. In fact, I've got one of them right here, which is the original Alexa Mini. And this camera's been out for, over a decade at this point and still shooting, still great camera. And that's why I own it. But now the option with the Alexa 35 Extreme to upgrade, get a new camera, some people are going to be really happy with that and some people are going to be pissed off. And so all you need to do is go online and you can see who lies into which those camps. The argument kind of being that if you bought an Alexa 35 when it came out, you paid more than what they're currently selling at, and now you have to pay another 18 grand to get your camera upgraded to the newest version. If you had not bought one up till now and you just wanted to buy the brand new Alexa 35 Extreme, you'd pay less money for it. So yeah, that's pretty annoying as anybody who's bought anything. You want it to retain its value, I guess, somewhat. Cameras are like cars, they're depreciating assets. Don't buy it expecting it to go up in money. You buy it because you're going to use it to go out and make money with it. It's never going to hold a bunch of its value or appreciate in value. That's kind of ridiculous thinking. Arri also has a brand new codec in this, so they're calling ARRICORE, which is kind of a cross between a compressed codec and RAW. They've had Arri RAW in the past, but it's extremely data heavy. It requires a lot of storage space, sucks up card space. And a lot of people, if you have the means, then you would shoot on that. If you're a big, huge Hollywood production, you would shoot that way because you've got data wranglers and DITs and all that kind of stuff. Now they've got ARRICORE. It's like a partially debayered codec. I can't get into the ins and outs of the technical specs of it, but it's less data heavy and then also retains some of the benefits that you get from RAW, basically. We don't want to bury the lead, and probably the big one here is the higher frame rates. I talked about this a little bit when some people were speculating on the announcement and kind of what it all meant. The ability for Arri cameras to now record higher frame rates is going to be a huge benefit for people that were already shooting with Arri cameras and didn't want to rent a specialty body like a Phantom, like an Ember, to shoot high frame rate stuff. Now you can shoot it all on the same camera. So you can shoot your regular 24 frames a second. When you're shooting narrative stuff, you need to jump up to a higher speed to shoot some specialty insert or something in slow-mo. Now it's there. The 660 frame rates is the kind of the eye-popping number. Like that's the highest that you can get it to go. Now that's in a Super 16 frame size. And you also have to deal with, for these advanced super extreme frame rates, Arri has a reduced dynamic range for those. And that's interesting. So you go from your normal 17 stops of dynamic range down to 11 stops. That's a big drop, right? 6 stops of dynamic range that you're losing. I think, honestly, my opinion, the funny part about that is that 11 stops is about what you get on, 95% of other cameras. 11 stops is a pretty good range. That's what you get on most of your higher end kind of like prosumer cameras. Even some cinema cameras from other people only really give you about 11 usable stops. So the fact that Arri is giving you all those frame rates now with 11 stops, I actually think is pretty good. And I don't know what the Phantom numbers are. I'll have to look. But I don't know that they're giving you much more than 11 stops with those cameras, those super high frame rate cameras. There's kind of a technological limitation on reading out frames that fast and also giving you the dynamic range. So I think Arri actually made a good move there. Essentially, what they've kind of done is they've always had a dual gain output structure to their chips and stuff. So it'll read each thing twice, combine the two of each frame to give you a higher dynamic range. When you're reading out that many frames that fast, you just don't have time to do that. And so essentially they're giving you like the single readout dynamic range of the sensor. So very cool. You also get higher frame rates with the full 17 stops due to the upgraded processor, upgraded boards, things like that. So you now still get more frame rates with the full 17 stops of dynamic range. And I'm sure a lot of people will make use of those. They've also got way longer pre-recording. So if that's something that's important to you, if you're in like sports or wildlife or things like that, that stuff can be very important there because you're waiting for the moment to happen. You don't quite know when it's going to happen. Maybe you don't want to roll, for 30 minutes straight waiting on something to happen. Now you've got a longer pre-record. And so you can push the button and essentially it jumps back in time to capture whatever from 5 minutes ago, I think now with this new update, to shorter time frames depending on the frame rates, things like that. So that's a cool feature if you're into wildlife, like I said, maybe even documentary or sports stuff. That would probably be a big one for you. The camera now uses around 10% less power, I think, again, due to some improved components. That's big because the LX35 is a very power-hungry camera. It takes the B mount, 26 volt, I think, power system that it runs on. And yeah, that sucks a lot of batteries, a lot of power. Even the Mini here, this is a pretty power-hungry camera. Usually if it's sitting on a tripod or something, I'll have it on a block battery so I can, have much longer run times. Better Wi-Fi now on the new camera. Wi-Fi is becoming more and more important. People really like the apps that work well with cameras. If you can get it to send, a wireless preview or things like that to iPads or iPhones or stuff, that just kind of helps when you're moving fast. You want to give maybe a monitor or a director, stuff like that. I think this new better Wi-Fi with Arri, you still don't get the live camera feed direct from it like you do with some other camera manufacturers, Red, for example. But it is much better improved and will allow you to do some more things over Wi-Fi. They've also promised, there could be some other upgrades, again, just due to the increased motherboard, increased processing, all that stuff allows for more options in the future for them to do some stuff with the camera. So there's that. Overall, my main thoughts to this new Alexa 35 Extreme, uh, it's a better camera in every way than the previous one. If you have not bought into the Alexa 35 system, now is the time to get in because you can get in cheaper. If you were an existing Alexa 35 owner, I would still be a little bit hurt about this upgrade. I know I can still pay the 18K and upgrade it. That's more money out of the pocket. At the same time, if you bought that camera originally, hopefully you were working enough that that made it worthwhile. And so you were renting it out, you were making money on it. Hopefully you've made your money uh, or close to making your money back on it. And so now it makes financially good sense for you to maybe upgrade for the improved features that you get. There's also kind of that elephant in the room of just the way productions in Hollywood and that stuff has been going. It has not been super busy. Things have been down for, a couple years for a lot of people. And so that's a tough ask to now come out with a new camera, maybe when your other one wasn't working that much, to ask to upgrade it to get new features. So that kind of stinks if you're in that boat. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with the cameras that you already own. If somebody comes out with a new camera, you don't have to buy that camera. If you don't use the features that are in it and you don't need those, that doesn't hurt you in any way. You can still keep using your camera. Again, I continue to use the Mini here, and it's a newer purchase for me, but it's a camera that's over a decade old. Still take it out, still shoots great pictures, still makes great images, and I can still rent it out to clients and use it for work. Nothing's stopping me from doing that with this camera or an existing Alexa 35 owner or any camera that you own. So I think the most important thing is not to get caught up in the specs and the new things. Just go out and shoot and make images. That's really the most important thing. Trying to make something that's important to you or moves people or just makes money so you can pay your rent. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.